Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, who's there? Yo, yo, yo. Who's there on the stream? Oh my god. Well, what a way to start today's stream. Holy shit. Oh. Jesus, hold on a second, everybody. Oh my god. Oh. 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 Ugh. Oh. Ugh. 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 Okay. All right. I'm here. What's up? What's up, everyone? Holy shit. I certainly wasn't expecting that to happen. Immediately as I start talking, I have a ginormous freaking sneeze that rocks me. God damn, dude. Woo! Well, it is that season, right? It is allergy season, so. Alright, so everyone, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Darkside Phil here. Time for another full day of fun streaming. I hope you guys are ready for it. What's going on? Today is Tuesday, June 4th, 2019. What's up? How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're having a good day. Hopefully you're having a good week so far. You know, just started. We're only on Tuesday, but hopefully the week is going well for you. And you're looking forward to lots more fun. I certainly am. And we got a lot coming up, and I'll tell you in just a moment what we're going to be doing. But, whew, should be a good one. Man, I got to recover from the sneeze. So, yeah, it's a new day, which means a new stream and a new game today. This is a game that actually came out exactly 1 week ago, but I was in the midst of other games at the time. And then a few people asked me if I would be playing it, since there's not a lot going on in the realm of gaming right now. And I was like, well, you know, we'll see how this week goes, how long it takes me to beat all the current playthroughs I'm doing and everything. And it just so happens that in the last week I finished up, Team Sonic Racing. I finished up A Plague Tale. I wrapped up a lot of stuff that was ongoing stuff. So I got a little bit of extra time. E3's right around the corner. E3 is this coming weekend. And I will be covering it. And yes, don't worry, I am going to have information for you on how I'll be covering E3 shortly. I don't have it yet. I have to basically take a little bit of time to look it up. And I think I'm going to do that tonight. Look up the E3 schedule and write down exactly the stuff I want to cover, so that you guys know exactly what to expect between gameplay and, E3 stuff this coming week. To be quite honest, almost all of my ongoing playthroughs have now completed. If you really think about it, of all the games that I've been playing recently, Days Gone, finished that up. Rage 2, finished that up. A Plague Tale, finished that up. The only real ongoing playthrough that I'm doing is Mortal Kombat 11, and that's a fighting game. I haven't played it in over 2 weeks. I am going to resume Mortal Kombat either tomorrow or Friday, depending on scheduling here. But, outside of that, there's really not anything going on for me, because it's, very slow with game releases. There's been, nothing going on and nothing coming out. So, between E3 coverage and Mortal Kombat, I may have to figure out something else to start up, another playthrough or something. I'm not sure what. I have to think about it. Okay, I'm not really sure at all what I want to do. I have a few options. I could always go back and do a New Game Plus run through Sekiro, which I wanted to do, but I said I would maybe do it in the summer. It's surely not the summer yet. I could start a Final Fantasy IX, but I am a little worried that if I start a Final Fantasy IX while I'm still playing Phoenix Wright, that people will say, oh my god, now you got, Western audiences overload, like Japanese culture overload. And people will complain that it's too much of one thing. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to do. I could just find another game completely, a retro game. I don't know what I want to do right now. I'm kind of confused. See, all this could be completely blown out of the water because, as I said, this weekend is E3. And whenever E3 happens, typically there's a bunch of game announcements, and sometimes even entire games get dropped, boom, out of nowhere. And, when that happens, that could completely change up my schedule for a week or two, honestly, depending on what comes out. So we'll have to see, how this E3 weekend goes. It very, very much could be one of those situations where, based on what we hear and see this weekend, completely changes everything that I'm up to, right? So I guess we'll see. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you are ready for something fresh and new and different today, because today I'm going to be playing a game that is very different from the norm of what I would play. First of all, it's an indie style game. It's not a game by a major published studio. It's number one. Number two, it's a horror game, or at least it's supposed to be a horror game. From what I'm hearing, it's not in your typical vein of horror games. It's not about gore. It's not about constant jump scares. At all. Apparently the game is more about psychological horror, an ongoing mystery style plot that you need to unravel through, playing the game and also, thinking about stuff going on. The game is called Layers of Fear 2. So for those of you who are longtime viewers, I played Layers of Fear 1 years ago. Alright, I played it during a Halloween marathon. It was recommended to me that I check out this game, Layers of Fear, and I didn't know anything about the game at all, okay? And the best way that I could describe it would be, it's a walking simulator that has some horror elements and survival horror elements. Mostly puzzle. Like, you solve a puzzle, you get some information about the plot, and then you move on to another room, something spooky, creepy happens, and then more information about the plot, etc. So a lot of people, when I was doing this during a Halloween marathon, were not very pleased. They said, oh, this isn't scary. And I kind of agreed with them. I was like, yeah, it's not typically scary what you would expect from a typical horror game in this day and age. There's no gore. There's no combat. There's no, there were some jump scares. But it was more like, wow, what the fuck is going on? This ongoing mystery versus really having any element of fear or, like, imminent danger. You know what I mean? I kind of compare that to games like Soma and stuff like that. But I would say Soma did actually have a few elements of imminent danger during it. So maybe it's not the best comparison. Alright. But the thing is, it was something different, and I actually liked it. But, people on that particular stream, that Halloween stream, were looking for something different. When you think Halloween, I think you're looking for something more visceral, right? I want a game where you're on the run from vicious killers and monsters, and, that's what people were looking for. So, the game didn't do so well on the Halloween stream that year. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, honestly. I can't really remember what year it was. Okay? So, today we're trying out the sequel. Just came out a week ago. Now, I've heard a few things. Number one, it's pretty much in the same vein as the first game, just a different setting. Number two, I'm hearing it's short. So, I want to say thanks to the person who donated the $25 of PSN credit. The game cost $30. So, it was already mostly paid for. Because that would really suck if I dropped like $30 on a game that I beat in one stream. That would have been very disappointing. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if that's true at all. A lot of people tell me games are short and then they're not. I was told The Plague Tale was only about 8 hours and it was 12. I was told Rage 2 was only 8 to 10 hours and it was almost 20. So, I get the feeling a lot of people tend to over-exaggerate and or they completely rush through a game, not actually taking their time or reading. The thing about a game like this, it's probably going to be a lot of, finding a document or finding backstory elements. And experiencing those. That's the whole point. You're trying to flesh out the story. If you're just rushing through the game and you have absolutely no idea what the story is because you rushed through it, then you failed. It's supposed to be a narrative-based game and you're skipping the story to rush through the game. That you didn't do it right. And I think a lot of people, sadly, with a game like this, they do that just to talk shit about the game. Oh, you could beat this game in 3 hours. Well, yeah, you could beat Resident Evil in like 2.5 hours if you know what you're doing and you just rush through it and you skip all the cutscenes, you know? So, so I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens, okay? I'm going to judge it at face value. Like you guys know, I'm fair and I judge games at face value. I'm not going to sugarcoat it if I don't like it. But at the same time, I'm not going to treat it incredibly harshly just for drama purposes. I want to judge the game for what it is, all right? So it's today's major stream, Layers of Fear 2. Let's see how it goes, okay? I'm curious to see how it goes. And see if you guys like it, see if I like it, right? We'll see. We'll find out here today firsthand. Tonight will be my weekly Black Ops 4 Blackout Battle Royal session. I do this once a week. It's a very interactive session where mostly I'm focused on just talking with you guys. Although, I do actually try to do well, but it doesn't always go so well, right? So that's going to be tonight, and the thing is, there was a big update for Call of Duty Black Ops 4, including updating of the Battle Royal map for, I guess, the summer season, or whatever they want to call it. So I did update my game, and I'm curious to see, you know, what the changes will be tonight. So not only will we have our weekly interactive Battle Royale session, there's also going to be a new element to it because it updated, okay? So that'll be cool. It'll be like a dual-purpose stream. You know, not only do we get some fun interactive streaming in, but also we actually get to see what the changes are to the map or whatever and see if they're any good. So that's tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow's up in the air. If I don't beat Layers of Fear today, Layers of Fear 2, then I'm going to be playing it more tomorrow, okay? If I do happen to beat the game today, then tomorrow I'm going to do Mortal Kombat 11, all right? And it will be a new character that I'll try out. You know, take them into training mode and take them into their character tutorials and then do their arcade ladder, much like I always do with new characters in the game, all right? So that's going to be tomorrow's main gameplay stream, depending. Will either be Layers of Fear 2 or Mortal Kombat. And then tomorrow night will be more Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. As I told you guys, I am trying to play Phoenix Wright twice a week now for more progress in the plot, because I want to get that game done, hopefully, you know, if not by the end of this month, early July, so that way we can move on to other stuff. I am concerned that the game is going to be held up and never finish. And let's face it, when I play a game like that only once a week, people tend to lose interest, versus if I play it a little bit more often, you know, then, you know, a little bit more of a narrative, ongoing narrative, right? So, yeah, so that's the deal with the next couple of days. Now, I'm off on Thursday. I will not be here on Thursday. Instead, I will be spending the day with my wife for a change. For a change, actually spending some time with my wife, right? So, I will not, you know, I would ask that during that day, since I will not be here, hopefully you guys will check out some other stuff. Hopefully you guys will check it out, all the stuff I've been doing on DSPGaming, right? Sorry, ever since I sneezed, my stupid post-nasal drip, this is what sucks about having post-nasal drip. I sneezed and now it will not stop dripping, and it's tickling the back of my throat and making me like cough, and it's a pain in my friggin' ass. So I apologize. I was perfectly fine when I started the stream, and then I sneezed, and now it's been ongoing pain in my ass, okay? Okay, alright. So, Thursday's my day off from streaming. I'll be back on Friday. What will I be doing on Friday? That's a good question. It's really going to depend. It's going to depend on how Layers of Fear 2 goes. It's going to depend on the E3 schedule that I have to look up and check out. So I will let you know when I finally update that stuff later today. When I look at E3 and everything, I'll let you know what I'm looking at for this weekend, schedule-wise. I'll be honest, I am leaning towards starting Final Fantasy IX, although I have no idea how that's going to go when I'm also playing Phoenix Wright, and I don't know how it's going to be received as a mainstreaming game. I know a lot of people hate JRPGs, and they hate when I play JRPGs, and they complain when I play JRPGs, and they say JRPGs are boring, they're too grindy, they're not fun, and I hate them, and they do that. They actually shake their faces and go when I start playing a JRPG. It's quite ridiculous. The truth of the matter is that I think recently JRPG streams have been some of my best. Like, if you actually take a look at Dragon Quest XI last year, that was a really fun game to play. And reason being, not only was it a lengthy game with a good plot, good graphics, and in my opinion, good gameplay, but it was one of the best interactive streams that I did last year. There was a lot of opportunity for us to just talk and chill as I explored the world and did the turn-based combat. And I really enjoyed it. And, you know, and then, of course, I did Final Fantasy IV earlier this year. That also was good. Of course, people complained because it was an old-school game that looked terrible. You know, even though I played the 3DS version, it still, you know, looked outdated. So a lot of people were complaining about that. It is what it is. But this will be the, you know, I think I really want to play this now. I think I might be starting up in the next week, if not this weekend, Final Fantasy IX. And then I can balance Final Fantasy IX with a little bit of Mortal Kombat and maybe do a few other things in there, depending on what happens with E3 week, okay? Sound good? All right, so we'll see. I'll let you guys know. Like I said, I got to check the E3 schedule. I'll let you guys know once I check the schedule what's coming up this weekend. Definitely E3 coverage, but outside of that, I can't promise you anything yet until we figure out what the hell's going on. Later on this month, we've got a crazy amount of new releases. There's an expansion for Mortal Kombat 11. The first DLC character, Shang Tsung, is coming out. And then we've got Crash Team Racing. We've got the game Judgment, The Sunken City, Super Mario Maker 2. There's like a ton of new releases in the second half of June. It seems like all these game developers wanted to wait for E3 to be over before they release their new games. So there's going to be a lot of shit to do second half of June, but the thing is we have to get to the second half of June, right? So, there you go. All right, guys. I'm trying to think. Okay, one final thing. That's right. One final thing before we get started with the rest of the pre-stream, which is the plugs and the shout-outs. The monthly sub goal for this month. Are you guys okay with me doing the Viewer's Choice event and trying to do it again this month? Do you think we'll hit the sub goal this month for if I do a Viewer's Choice event? Or should I not even do one? Like, seriously, and the past few days I've been asking everyone, what do you think I should do for the sub goal this month? And really no one's had anything too good of a suggestion. You know, a few things here or there that didn't seem too interesting or viable. So, I'm thinking what we're going to do, maybe starting tomorrow, is Viewer's Choice, and I'll set a sub goal. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'll think about it. And if we hit that sub goal for the month, it means that everyone will be able to nominate a game they want to see me do a playthrough of on my forums, thekingofhate.com. Patrons also, people who are my patrons on patreon.com/DarkSidePhil will also be nominating games. And they'll have priority, and I'll explain how in a moment. What we're going to do is maybe over the course of 2-3 weeks, if we hit the sub goal, that is, people will be nominating games on my forums, and then what I'll do is I'll narrow it down. I'll take the games that were the most commonly nominated and make a poll of, say, the top 10 games that people nominated, and then people will vote on that poll to get it down to, you know, one game. However, the patrons will also be nominating and then, you know, kind of determining their own game to make it into that final poll. So patrons will basically have priority to get into the poll while, you know, everyone else will kind of be like a common grab bag kind of a deal, you know. And essentially, you know, after a few weeks of nominations and voting, we'll have an idea of, okay, there's like maybe like top 3 games, and then do a final poll, and that'll determine what game will be the viewer's choice game for the summer. Because once I finish Phoenix Wright, I'll start up that game. It'll be the replacement. Because if you guys don't even know, Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations, okay, is an actual viewer's choice event from patrons last year. It was actually from the friggin' fall where I did a patron's choice event. And the Patriots picked Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. But I wanted to wait for the HD trilogy to be released to play. It made more sense to wait than to play the old version. So, That's what took so long, and that's why, I just started it in April, and I've been playing it all throughout May and now into June. So, once Phoenix Wright wraps up, if we do hit the sub goal for this month, we'll be doing the Viewer's Choice event, all right? Whatever you guys choose via the Viewer's Choice polling and everything. I'm curious what kind of game the public, the common viewer, will want to see me play. I have no idea. Various games in the past that people have nominated for me to play: Sonic 06, Simpsons Hit and Run, Persona 3 and 4, Yakuza series, Phoenix Wright, Super Mario, not Galaxy, what was it? Sunshine, Super Mario Sunshine, among other things. There's been a good variety of stuff that people have nominated for me to play. So, pretty interesting to see what people will want to see this time around. It's always an interesting variety. So, all right. So, I got a lot of stuff to work on. Number one, I got to look up the E3 schedule so I can tell you guys exactly how I'm covering it, and that'll have an update for you in the next couple days. And number two, I am gonna set up this sub goal for the month. All right. So within the next day or two, we'll have a lot of new stuff on the stream here, information and stuff set up for you. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, guys, so thank you very much for 11 years. 11 years that I've been able to be a content creator on the internet. 11 years that you have allowed me to be by following my stuff. First as a full-time YouTuber, now as a full-time streamer. It's been a wild ride, and there's certainly been ups and downs, but I absolutely love what I do for a living. I love the daily interactions we have, and being able to honestly share my feelings about games with you on a daily basis. Alright? That being said, things have changed, over the years. I used to be a full-time YouTuber that relied on ad revenue to pay the bills. Not anymore. Now, I'm a full-time streamer, and I don't want to say solely, but I primarily rely on streaming contributions to keep things going, all right? So if you love my daily live streams, I'm a variety streamer, and I do a variety of stuff, and I'll be covering E3 and all this stuff coming up. You like all this, you support it, you want to see it continue. And if you like the fact that in the last year I've made so many positive changes over on YouTube, now doing longer style videos that you guys have always wanted on DSPGaming and everything, all right? And you want to see all this continue. There are many ways that you can contribute and allow this to continue, all right? The first being checking out my Patreon over at patreon.com/darksidephil, where your monthly pledges earn you personal perks as a way of me giving back. I don't want to go into detail about those perks right now. It's all publicly listed there on my Patreon. But I do want to say thanks to anyone who pledged in May. As of 2 days ago, I did contact you via patreon.com. So please, if you're interested in getting your perks for that month, please contact me back with the information that I requested. All right. And if you are not a current patron, please give it a look. And, you'll see some fun stuff, some good explanation of everything there, of how it works. All right. Now, before I even move on from this, I know this is not the norm. There were a few cheers that I received overnight asking about Patreon, questions about my Patreon. And what I'd like to do now is answer said questions before we even get further into the pre-stream. That way they're out of the way. All right. So it was, why can't we be friends? Who did 3 cheers and asked 3 questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to answer all of them. Let me read them all, and then I'm going to answer all of them for you. Okay. All right. Now, first question, he says, I noticed you removed the $1 pledge option on Patreon. I don't remember hearing anything about it. Why'd you do this? If you don't mind me asking, I remember when you used to promote your Patreon, you said, $1 a month would help me out. Isn't that the case anymore? Then he cheered again and said, oh, never mind. I actually saw that it is there. It's not, it's not that you can't pledge $1. But on the subject of Patreon, I noticed, it's around $400 or something a month. At least that's what it says publicly. Do you think that's because other people are contributing to your Twitch now instead? And then he said again, oh, that was a $1 goal I was looking at. The $1 tier is definitely gone. Is that the only goal that will remain on your Patreon from now on? Will you ever bring back the $1 tier option? All right. Allow me to explain, because this guy was completely misinformed and didn't understand what the heck he was talking about. So allow me to explain. If you go to patreon.com/darksidephil, that's my Patreon page. That's my monthly Patreon drive. Every month, you can contribute to the monthly total there, okay? And that's a public-facing total that shows there on the page. It's not necessarily 100% accurate. In fact, I would say it's a little bit lower than what it really is, because it accounts for people who don't, or people who have, declined pledges every month there's a few people who, goes to charge them and it doesn't work. So it kind of auto figures that in automatically. But I would say, yeah, pretty much what you see there is pretty accurate, okay? Now, there was a time when my Patreon was over $1,000 a month, all right? And that time, was years ago. I'd say probably about a year and a half to 2 years ago. And you might say, well, why did it go down so much over the years? Well, there's primarily two factors. Number one, I became a full-time streamer in 2017. And when I did, people told me you should shift your focus from YouTube to streaming. And essentially when I did that, a lot of the YouTube-based stuff that I was doing with Patreon went away. Okay? So I used to say, oh, we'll do an exclusive series on YouTube if we hit a Patreon goal or this or that. And we just don't do that anymore. Basically what I did is I shifted my Patreon goals, all right, from Patreon to Twitch, to streaming. So as I just mentioned to you, we're going to do a sub goal this month. Sub goal, see what I mean? I used to do Patreon goals. If we hit the Patreon goal for this month of this amount of funding, then I'll do a special event. Instead, now we do that based off of subs. You see what I mean? So I moved the goalpost from one site to another or one business to another. And by doing that, essentially, yeah, you transferred support over. And that's actually the second half of this is a lot more people come to my streams now and support me on stream than worry about Patreon. Now, I'm certainly not saying that pledging to my Patreon isn't helpful. It is, absolutely helps, and you get perks for it. Like I said, you get a lot of good things for doing it. But in general, if you're a person who wants to be on the streams and interact with me on a daily basis, you're going to come to the stream. You're either going to contribute during the stream or you're going to sub. You see what I mean? And in general, yes, support has greatly shifted from Patreon to streaming. So even though, oh my God, 2 years ago, Phil, your Patreon used to be this high and now it's so much lower. It's not like I lost that. It just moved from one business to another. You see what I mean? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people actively participating and engaging me in the thing that I'm focusing on. I'm not focused on YouTube at all. YouTube is just my archive now. I'd much rather have people focused on my Twitch and my streams daily. Okay? Now, in regards to the dollar goal level that he's talking about here, I used to have different reward levels, and one of the levels was $1. You pledge $1, you get a reward. The reward was basically that every week I would have this thank you scroll in an old video series that I used to do called The Week in Preview. All right, and it was a way to say thank you to those who pledged $1, and it was a lot of people. I used to have over 100 people who would pledge $1 to my Patreon, and they would get this thank you crawl every week in The Week in Preview. Well, two things happened in the last year that made that completely unviable. Number one, I retired the Week in Preview. I haven't done a Week in Preview since last summer because there's no reason to do the series anymore, because every single night I put out a tweet, and that tweet is my updated schedule, and then every morning I do a pre-stream, and the pre-stream is my updated schedule. So if on a daily basis I'm telling you the schedule twice, why do you then need a video once a week to tell you the schedule? You see, the Week in Preview used to have use when I was just a full-time YouTuber, and I wasn't doing this daily stuff like this. So once a week, people would check out the Week in Preview to know what videos are going up on YouTube, and that was the purpose. There's literally not a purpose for it anymore, okay? The other thing is, earlier this year, my subscription for my video editing program, Adobe Premiere Pro, expired, and with how tight my money is now, I couldn't afford to renew it. It was like, I think, almost $300 to renew it. I couldn't afford it. So I said, for as little as I edit, a very, very rare when I would ever edit a video these days, I don't need it anymore. I don't need a video editor. So I'm just not going to renew it. And therefore, how am I going to do a thank you crawl for my patrons when I don't have the editor anymore, right? I can't. So, since those two major changes happened, I said it would be very dishonest of me to have a $1 goal level with that as a reward when I can't do it. I can't fulfill it. So I removed it. All right. Now, there's still tons of people. I mean, I'm serious. There's probably still about 100 people who still pledge about $1 a month. And that helps me tremendously. All right. I just want to say to anyone who pledges to my Patreon any amount, thank you for that. They're just not necessarily getting that reward anymore because I can't live up to it. All right. But, they know that they're helping me, and it does directly help me. So it's not that, oh my God, he got rid of the $1 level. You can't pledge $1. That's not true at all. When you go to my Patreon, you can pledge anything. You could pledge $1, you could pledge $5, you could pledge 10, you could pledge 7, you could pledge 16.47 if you want every month. You know what I mean? Like, you could do random amounts. It's all, it's all permitted. It's not like, oh, you have to pledge only certain levels or anything like that. And there are tons of people who do still pledge $1 a month. Okay, so there's your answer. Number one, yes, it is true that my Patreon over the last couple of years has gone, had a big loss of funding, because people have jumped from Patreon to Twitch and supporting me on Twitch. Number two, you can still pledge $1. Yes, it is true the dollar goal level is gone, the reward level is gone, but you can still pledge that $1 and it still helps. Okay? I know it was a lot more than I usually talk about Patreon. Give it a look, patreon.com/DarkSidePhil. Thanks for listening, everyone. I figured, let me get those out of the way before we continue on. All right. I also have a merchandise shop called on Teespring, and I sell t-shirts primarily, but there's also things there like stickers and mugs and hoodies. Good quality stuff. Anything you buy helps me out, and you get a cool collectible. Please give it a look. That's teespring.com/stores/DSPGaming. Okay? Alrighty then. Alrighty. Now, in addition to that, if you're here live on the stream, then it's a no-brainer that if you contribute during the stream, I will give you a shout-out, all right? It's a great opportunity for you to get interaction with me and get some credit for your contributions, and obviously it helps me out. So please consider it. There's various ways you can do it, either cheering with bits, subscribing to the channel, or tipping me, all right? And I'm appreciative of all of that. I will say this up front. Contributions are very appreciated during streams, but not required at all. They are not mandatory. I am happy just to have people come by and hang out with me on a daily basis and, help share in my gameplay experiences. But, as I previously mentioned, it is primarily your daily contributions on my streams allowing me to continue to do this. So, please consider it if at all you can, all right? As you can see, we have a Stream Stats leaderboard at the top of the screen. I will update this periodically during the day with things like the top cheerer and the top tipper of the day to get you credit up there. In addition, if you look at the top of your stream chat, you will see there is a cheering leaderboard that is set up for the entirety of the week, all right? So if you cheer with bits and you're in the top 10 cheerers, you're actually going to get up there on that leaderboard. It'll update periodically, and it's another great way to get recognition, all right? Outside of everything I just mentioned, guys, right now, being very honest with you, and I'm just going to mention this briefly because I don't want the whole stream to become about it. Financially, right now, I'm not doing well at all. In fact, a bunch of bills just cleared, and I'm almost 100% drained, and I got more bills coming up. I don't get paid by Twitch until the 15th of the month, all right? So right now, things are not good financially for me, and they're not going to be pretty tight for the next week and a half at least, and then, of course, the next couple of months. I'm trying to negate some annoying bad stuff that happened, and it really sucks, and it's very annoying, but there's nothing I can do about it, all right? It's been your tips during streams in the last month that have kept me afloat. If you guys hadn't tipped me the way you did, I would have been completely screwed financially. So you guys are helping me get out of this situation, all right? That being said, the best way to support me right now is to tip me during a stream, all right? There are two ways you can tip me. Below the stream, there's a tips jar button that you can click on, or you can type exclamation point into the stream chat to bring up the link. That brings you to my PayPal tips page. A couple quick things about tipping me. The first is you don't need a PayPal account to do it. That's a misconception. You use either a debit or a credit card like everything else on the internet. There's a button to do that right there on my PayPal tips page. Number two, you could be anonymous. You don't have to put your real name on there. A lot of people are like, oh, if I'm going to contribute to a streamer, man, I'm going to get harassed by trolls and stuff. No, if you just don't use your real name, make up a name, or just say anonymous, no one will know it's you. Okay, so you can support completely anonymously, and no one's going to be able to do anything about it. Okay? So I just want to say in advance thank you to anyone who's considering contributing today. Tipping me helps me the most because those are funds I can use right away to pay bills. In fact, yesterday, I transferred more money over. Every day that I get tips, I'm transferring it right to my bank account to clear and pay bills, pay bills, pay bills. So please consider tipping me if at all you can. If you cheer or sub, I also appreciate that. That does help me, and I'm certainly not looking a gift horse in the mouth or trying to be ungrateful. All contributions are great, but the tips are the real way to help me right now the most, so thank you for that. Okay? All right, it is now time to go ahead and give shout-outs for those who have contributed on the stream. We actually start off today with Orion Rogue, who has resubscribed for 16 months and says, enjoyed the most your Phoenix Wright playthrough. Keep that nose to the grindstone. Oh, I will. You know, we're in case 4 right now of that, and the game has 5 cases and an epilogue. I'm going to finish it up, and I am enjoying it, don't get me wrong, even though I say last stream of Phoenix Wright was a little bit more tough because the game was being a little bit more unspecific and cryptic, and I really think that, sadly, they really made a few mistakes there in this case, where it should have been a little bit more clear-cut, or the things that I presented actually were better evidence than actually what they expected me to do. But yeah, that being said, I am enjoying it. I am enjoying doing it twice a week, and hopefully, you know, we'll have good progress. We'll be able to wrap it up by the end of, hopefully by the end of this month would be ideal, I think. So we'll see. All right, so thank you for the resub, Orion Rogue, and of course for the 16 months of ongoing support. Eternal Napalm cheered. He says, I have a few JRPG suggestions. Excuse me. He says Trails of Cold Steel series on the PlayStation 4 and Residents of Fate PS4 remaster. So I don't know. I think I've heard of Residents of Fate before. I don't think I've ever heard of Trails of Cold Steel. I can tell you this, definitely Final Fantasy IX will be the next JRPG I play. But after that, it's kind of open season, whatever people want to see. So I guess we'll find out. But thanks for the suggestions. And I would say, you know, once I'm done with Final Fantasy IX and I'm looking for another JRPG, please re-suggest these. Because chances are, this is going to pass right through my mind like a sieve. And I'm not going to remember it. Just being honest with you. Okay. Okay. Ace has done a 200-bit cheer. All right. Let me go ahead and get Ace up here on the leaderboard for the 200-bit cheer because it is the top cheer of the day. And he says, I would put my 2 cents into what you'll play for the patron's choice. It would be the following. 2 Human, Super Meat Boy, start to finish, and Dragon Ball Z Legend of the Super Saiyan for the Super Nintendo. Well then. So I have no idea, you know, in reality, you know, if we do this new Viewer's Choice event, and, you know, the patrons are allowed to nominate games, I guess he's saying that's what he would think the kind of games the patrons would nominate. It's kind of funny because it seems like the patrons always kind of nominate the same kind of game. They always nominate like a Western-style, Japanese-style game. The thing is, my main viewers who aren't patrons kind of complained about that over the years and said, you know, there's a disconnect because we don't, you know, every once in a while we like seeing you play a Japanese-style game, but we don't want to see it every day. And these patrons always seem to vote in a Japanese-style game as the game for your patron's choice. That's why this time I want to do a viewer's choice. I want to put it in the hands of the common viewers and see how different of a game we actually get voted in. Okay. Okay. And then Gabe Newell's Gaping Asshole tipped me $4 and said, call me Gape. Great. Well, I am going to call you Gape. I'm not putting Gabe Newell's Gaping Asshole onto the leaderboard here. I'm just going to say Gape tipped me $4. So thank you very much. Let's go ahead and get you up here on the leaderboard as the top tipper. $4. Okay? Oh, my God. Gabe Newell's Gaping Asshole. What is going on? Yeah, Gape for short is much better, isn't it? All right. So before we move on, what I would like to do is give a shout out to the top cheerers of the week so far. All right. Those who cheered yesterday and today, you know, it's the top 10 so far. So here we go. Without further ado, a triple tie for 8th place between Ace Best, DJ Runo 1, and Timbo Slice. Thank you, guys. In 7th place so far this week, Golden Colts. 6th place, Bad Bunny. 5th place, Vote Democrat. 4th place, Almighty Turban, who returned last night. To my surprise, I haven't seen him in weeks. 3rd place, Mr. Papavera. 2nd place, Big Boy Abides. And only with a very slight lead in 1st place, with an 11,500-bit cheer, Nihilistic Goldfish. Very slight lead there. Only leading by a couple bits, I think. So thank you all so far for your support this week. I appreciate it very much. Again, quick reminder before we actually start with today's game. the best way you can support me is tipping me, because I'm putting all that straight towards bills, and it's helping tremendously. So please, if you can, please tip me today. But otherwise, anything is appreciated. But tipping helps the most. All right. Excuse me. All right. I think it's time to end the pre-stream very quickly. I'm gonna run next door and use the restroom, and then we're gonna get started. I figure use the restroom now before we get to a jump scare and I crap my pants. Nothing worse than a big squishy Lincoln log shooting out into your underwear when you're playing a horror game. And now not only you have to escape the baddies, but now you got a turd bobbing around in your pants. It's not good. Okay, so let's take a quick break, and yeah, next door. That's right. I'm going next door. I'm not gonna use my bathroom. I'm gonna go next door. I'm gonna use my neighbor's bathroom. I'm gonna blow it up completely, like destroy it, and then I'm gonna. No, what I mean is the bathroom is next door to me. The bathroom is the next room over in my house. Not that I'm going to completely leave my house and go next door to my neighbors to fucking use the bathroom. What are you talking about? I'm going to go next door. I'm going to do an upper decker. I'm going to take a shit in the top of their tank. What are you talking about? Oh my God. Anyway, PlayCool18 just tipped me $2 and said the Trails series are great games, but very long. 70 to 100 hours each. Great plot and OST. Trails Cold Steel games are more modern, but Trails of Sky games are better in dialogue, comedy, and originality. Great choices either way. Good Lord. It sounds like there's a lot of these Trails games, and I don't know anything about Trails. This is the first I've ever heard of them. All right, so we're up to $6 in tips. Thank you for the $2 tip, PlayCool18. All right. Let's now end the pre-stream. I'm going to go do an upper decker next door. And then we're going to... I'm going to come back, and we're going to start up with Layers of Fear 2. All right, so I'll be back with just a couple of minutes here. Everyone just go grab a drink or, use the restroom yourself, relax, whatever you need to do. I'll be right back, and then we'll start it up. All right.